have a bit of a different video. You know, like I like to spice things up on my channel. Apparently, I feel like there are so many videos talking about how to start a reading journal spreads, like monthly spreads and things that you can track, but nobody ever talks about the fallout because nobody ever talks about how hard it is to keep a reading journal. Like, it's hard when you don't have time, when you're not particularly artistically gifted. So it's like hard because then you see these beautiful spreads and you're like, okay, but why doesn't my journal look like this? And you know, at times it's discouraging, at times it's like, why am I even doing this? And at times you may run into a 6-month reading slump and just give up on reading, forget to read, become illiterate. It happens. So I thought it would be really interesting to go through my old reading journal. Old because I don't use this anymore. I only filled up, I mean, it is more than half, but I never finished my reading journal. Yes, it's so like, and I feel like it's going to be really interesting to see the evolution because I started this in 2019 and the last spread that I did was April 2020. So over a year now that I haven't even touched this. I did the anticipated reads of 2020 and like books I want to read in 2020. So it would be interesting to see which ones I've already read, which ones I totally forgot about. And you can also come for me, like if you see me rating a book that you hate it, or if you see just something and be like, sis, it looks like my 2-year-old niece drew that. You can also say that. I'm open. I'm not open. I will cry, but you can still send it in. So without further ado, let's just open up this bad boy and see what we have. All right, so light up a candle and get all cozy because we are about to take a trip into the past. When you first open up my reading journal, there is a Polaroid of how my bookshelf used to look in 2019. And then I wanted to quickly visualize all of the books that I read that year. So I drew this bookshelf, and every time that I finished a book, I would write its name on the spines of the books. And since I started my reading journal halfway through 2019, the first spread is of August. And for my monthly spreads, I really liked to keep track of all of the days in which I read because I liked to see how much reading I got done. And I also like to keep a TBR, which is something that I'm not doing recently, but past me used to follow TBRs religiously. Then we have a wrap up of all of the books that I read in August, which I somehow read 20. That does not sound, that sounds fake. Let's move on. After August, of course, we have September, and I followed the same type of layout. I only didn't read for 2 days, which is insane. Like, present me could never. I also did an Avatar theme because there was a readathon going on, so I had to do it. Plus, I love them to bits. And in my TBR, apparently I had a lot of buddy reads with a bunch of my friends, so September was a good month for me and my friends. I also tried doing the fancy titles, but I don't think that really worked out. So for the Avatar readathon, each group had a different set of challenges, and I was the Fire Nation, of course. The only book that I didn't get to read was the group book, which was The Rise of Kyoshi. But don't worry, because I've already read it, so let's quickly fill that in. I love that book so much. So each group had a different set of challenges, but if you completed all of them, you became the Avatar. So of course I had to try and do them all. And then we have all of the books that I read in September, which were a total of 12 books. Good for you. And then of course we have Zuko here and an Avatar quote because I just had too much blank space and I needed to fill it up with something. And then October is probably my favorite spread just because it's so different from all the others that I've done. I also have my favorite Sally and Jack sticker and some spooky favorites. The 21st Century Girl dance practice just hits different when they're in Halloween costumes. And then we have a TBR, which apparently I didn't really do too well on, and a list of mystery thriller books. Moral of the story, never make such an ambitious TBR. Yep, that is very true. But basically, this is just a list of recommendations for mystery and thriller books. Let's see which books I've actually ended up reading. So there's actually quite a few books that I did read after this month, of course. I've obviously read The Dragon Republic and The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, of course. As for the mystery thrillers, oh my god, I've only read one, which Frankenstein, let's go. Yeah, but that's the only one I've read. Oh my god, that's so embarrassing. Then we have the wrap up of all of the books that I read in October, which were a total of 11. Yes, girl, get it. My friend Katie sent me a gift, and I was so grateful that I wanted to do a spread for her. And then I just dedicated a whole page to a BTS quote that will forever live in my heart. Next up, we have November, and I did pretty good in my reading, so yay me. We have the TBR, and then we have, November 2019 is when I first started getting into K-dramas. These are the first 4 K-dramas that I ever saw in my life, and I just wrote like mini reviews of each of them because this marked a whole period of my life. And to this day, I'm still watching K-dramas, so like this is when it all started. So in November, my favorite of the month was Daisy Jones and the Six, which, I mean, who's surprised? I also read a total of 11 books, and damn, the ratings are so good. Ugh, I miss this energy. Holy crap, there are so many 5 stars. Then I received another gift from Katie, so I wanted to do a full-on spread for her, and I used a lot of quotes from Jimin and V because, of course, they are friendship goals. And then we have December, and I hate that this looks so bad. I don't know what I was trying to do, but I put a little disclaimer to myself, just like, listen girly, you're not going to be doing a lot of reading because December is jam-packed. And as you can see, I barely did any reading this month, but hey, we tried. I did a wish list, and oh my god, the Hobie sticker is sending me. But oh my god, this wish list is so cute and adorable. And then December's TBR, which I was almost completely successful. I did end up reading Children of Vice and Virtue, but I never ended up reading the illustrated edition of Prisoner of Azkaban. Okay, let's check off the wish list. I did get the Funko Pops of BT21, and I did get a new phone, so there's that. Next, we have favorite quotes from Twitter. So when I still used Twitter, I asked you guys what some of your favorite book quotes were, and I wrote down some of the ones that you guys sent in that I absolutely loved. And then on the next page, we have the books that I read on December, which were a total of 8 books. So we started in 20 books per month, and now we are on 8 books per month. So this says top books of 2020, but it was supposed to say top books of 2019. Let's pretend Nevernight is not there. But all of the other books, yeah, they've stood the test of time. I love all of these so very much. This is the Polaroid for 2020, my bookshelf, my baby. So I first started my 2020 reading journal with the top 20 books to read in 2020 in no particular order. So I have read Starsight, even though I read it after I gave up on my reading journal. So let's update that real quick. What else did I read? I have yet to read these 3. Oh my god. There are so many unread books I cannot believe. I mean, to be fair, 2020 feels, I mean, a lot of things happened in 2020. But I did read Pride and Prejudice and Wuthering Heights, so yay me. Here's to reading more classics in 2021. I have yet to read Little Women, but it's coming, I promise. Like, I'm making my way through them. Okay, so favorite and worst read from this list. The favorite has to be, oh my god, I read so many good ones, but I think I'm gonna go with Crescent City, just because that book blew my mind. I'm still thinking about it. And then the worst one, oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's not the worst, but it didn't live up to my expectations, so I'm gonna write down King of Scars. Oop. Okay, and then we have anticipated releases of 2020. As you can see, this is damn. Okay, let's fill in the ones that I have already read. Vicious Spirits is the sequel to Wicked Fox, and I loved that. I loved the sequel. It was so good. It was excellent. I loved that. No, I am not going to, nope, no thank you, moving on. I have read The Burning God. I read it last month, I think, actually, and I gave it 3 stars. Of course, I've read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Yes, I mean, yes. And then I also read The Silence of Bones. It was an average read for me. I think I was expecting a bit more. There are actually so many books that I was anticipating in 2020 that I have yet to read. Like, I forgot about half of these. I don't think anybody's surprised by who I put in my favorite, but you may be surprised by who I put in my worst, which is Imagine Me by Tahada Mafi. Apparently these weren't that anticipated because, yeah. But next we have my 2020 reading goals, and it's just things that I wanted to accomplish in order to become a better reader. Sis tried. She made a good effort, but 0 classics. That's not a good look, love. And then here I just made this spread for Jamie because she got me some gifts for my birthday, so I wanted to write a little thing about her. And then we have the books that I read on January. Now this spread is a whole mess. I don't know what I was going for with the stars. I thought it was a good idea. I read a total of 8 books in January, and the ratings were amazing. Like, there's nothing under 4 stars, which, I mean, present me could never. So since my favorite book of January was the webtoon Save Me, I did a whole spread for it because I just fell in love with this story, of course, and the characters, and just everything about it was incredible. And it was my first webtoon as well, so that was like a whole experience. And then we have my February spread. It's like, oof, okay. As you can see, the TBR is a lot less reduced. We have only 3 books, which is yes. And then I did like a month at a glance, marking the days that I read, and my baby TBR. If you can guess whose lips these are, you get 500 brownie points. And yeah, this was my spread for February, very rosy. I can't believe I used this Vimin picture to talk about my favorite K-dramas. But yeah, I ended up watching a lot more K-dramas as the time went by, so I wrote about some of my favorites. Oh, this is when I watched Crash Landing on You and Something in the Rain. Oh my god, I'm still not over these K-dramas. It's so crazy to think, like, compared to all of the K-dramas that I've watched now, it's so crazy to think that past me was still a baby. And then this is the wrap-up of the books that I read in February. I read, again, a total of 8 books, and the ratings, again, are so good. Like, where is that energy now? I hate it. So since my favorite book of February was Dragon Republic, I did a spread for it as well and just wrote like a mini paragraph of how it made me feel. And then for March, I think I like messed up that page, so I just like put a black thing over it and put Jimin's smile because yes. And then I did a spread for Sophie, which very kindly sent me a couple of gifts. So I was feeling so grateful and so loved that I had to do a whole spread for her. And then we have the wrap up of the books that I read in March, which were a total of 7 books. And again, coming in with amazing ratings. 2020 me knew what she was oh, okay, we have a 1 star there. That is, ooh, okay. For March, I had 2 new favorites, which were Heartstopper Volume 3 and Full Metal Alchemist Volume 7. So I had to do a joint spread for both of them. Okay, this is when I am calling time of death on my reading journal. As you can see, there is nothing. I did I planned out a spread that I wanted to do, and then I never did it. Okay, I did do an Animal Crossing spread of when I first got it, which was on April 4th. And yeah, so I just wrote the basics of my first villagers, my fruit, and who my first visitor was. And just like a little love letter to Animal Crossing because it just came at the perfect time. Oh, right, of course, the reading rush. I participated in the reading rush last year, so I had to do a TBR for it. And then I think this is the very last spread that I ever did, which was a video that I was planning on doing of reading my subscribers' favorite books. I wrote down the top books that were mentioned that I had yet to read, and I was really planning on doing it. But did I do it? I don't think so. So as you can see, the rest of my reading journal is just empty. I do have this last page where I was just trying out different things. But yeah, so this is officially my very last spread. And yeah, there's yep, that's it. That's basically my reading journal. Let me know in the comments below if you've abandoned your own reading journal and why. And also if you still keep a reading journal, I would love to know as well. Like anything that you would like to discuss, I'm all for it because I love talking to you guys. And yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this flip through my abandoned reading journal. May she rest in peace. And I love doing this. It may be annoying, I'm sorry, but if you're still here, leave this emoji to know that you're a fellow simper. I love you guys so very much. I really do hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on my next one. Bye!
Hey Jimmy, you nice, keep going.